Hello, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are at the moment watching this video from the Open University in the United Kingdom. I'm going to be talking to you about OU Linux, an opportunity where we're going to help you or others create free Linux academies within the Cisco Networking Academy program. Hopefully by the end of this video you should understand what potential this opportunity has and how it may help you teach Linux at your school, college, maybe university or other educational establishment. As an introduction, I'm Andrew Smith. I work at the Open University in the UK. We're a very, very large distance learning university, and we're very pleased to be involved in this project because we can help you as a educator enable others to become Linux experts and our IT engineers of the future. If you want to get in touch with me, my email address andrew.smith is there. I also tweet quite a bit, and you can find me on Twitter as Teraknor, and you can easily visit our Open University website just to understand a little bit more about us as an institution. So, for some of you, there might be quite a realistic question. What is Linux? Linux has been around for over 20 years. At the time of recording, about 23 years. It is a free operating system. An operating system is technology that enables us to run, use, and utilize computers. Many of you are used to Windows. Quite a few of you probably use Macs and OS X and might even be installing Yosemite at the moment. And you might have encountered older operating systems like DOS. There is OS X Warp and many, many others. In fact, you probably encountered mobile phone operating systems. You may have encountered server operating systems and so on. Linux is probably the most pervasive pervasive meaning it's popular, it's common, and it's everywhere. It might not be on your desktop at home at the moment, but the chances are the connection you are going through or the web server that is hosting this video is running on a Linux system, and we find it on many, many technical platforms. Web servers, smartphones, we're talking about Android here, which covers about 80% of the smartphone and tablet market now. E-commerce systems with Apache web servers, they say about 66% of web servers is using Linux or some derivative of Linux. Supercomputers, out of the top 500, around 496 of them are using Linux. Internet servers hosting files, hosting cloud technologies. There is a technology company called Juniper that uses Linux as part of its routing technology. We know that Cisco systems use Linux in some of their virtualization and support technology. VMware use Linux for virtualization. And I could go on and I could bore you. But the point is as an educator, it's important that we teach something that our students are going to be able to use for their futures in the industry. And it means that we're giving them employability opportunities. In computing, you need to be a master of one trade and a jack of many. So you need to be a web development expert and know a bit about Linux. As a network engineer, I need to know about Cisco technologies, but I still need to know a bit about Linux. And you will find it's the same for programmers, for security experts, and so on. And there are naturally Linux experts as well that focus on Linux technologies, but will know a bit about other technologies as well, because it has been around for a considerable time now, and it is a pervasive technology. Linux Essentials is an introductory qualification. That's not to demean it, that's to state exactly where it is. The Linux Professional Institute is highly regarded in the industry, and worldwide they are considered the ones to provide the de facto vendor-neutral Linux certification, accreditation, and career development recognition opportunities. So an LTI 101 or an LTI 302, and they use those simple numbers, are understood qualifications that rate technical expertise of the individual and obviously their career position from technical support through to internet engineer, server engineer level. And to get people into that level of professionalism and recognising that we all have to start somewhere, they have their own Linux Essentials course that is designed to take people from zero, maybe almost zero, to a level where they can become slightly dangerous or potentially useful and be able to engage with Linux technology and develop a path into the network support or the infrastructure technology industries. Hence why they have this first level qualification. I'm just going to change my WebEx session now to an application, and I'm actually going to move to my browser. So bear with me a second. It should be sharing with you now. There you go. It's all sort of disappeared, and then you've now got my browser. I'll actually just skip over to the LPI Linux Essentials. You can actually look at the website and see their exam preparation. There is, if you are interested in the exams, and that's a long way down this conversation, you can register Proctor Centre and do it at very low cost, or get students to pay a very low fee, and it's designed to be a not-for-profit endeavour, or you can do it through Pearson VUE where the students can enrol directly and choose to get the certification and accreditation that way. The important part is, whilst we're all in our countries or our types of establishments very good at teaching our nationally recognised qualifications, in the IT industry internationally, people don't look at a qualification from the UK, from France, from Russia, from the United States or any other country. They actually look at the industry certifications. Are you a CCNA, CCNP, LPI 201 or a Microsoft engineer, and so on. And that is the reality that we have to understand as educators to ensure that our students are employable. So I'm going to go back now to my presentation. We're going to keep sort of skipping to and fro a little bit in this video. What we are hoping to do, what we're intending to do, and what we hope you will engage with is that you will join the Cisco Networking Academy program and teach Linux for free. We are not charging you anything. There is no money up front. There is no training money. We will never ask you for money. There may be a minor cost at the end if you choose to put your students through the Linux Essential certification, or if they choose to do it, but that is run as not-for-profit, and that is designed to enable them professionally to be recognised for the skills they have. So we are doing this as part of our corporate social responsibility at the Open University to help engage more young and old people into Linux technology, because we recognise if we can help develop the workforce with this skill for the future, then as a university we have a future. And that is the same for Cisco Systems, NDG, the Linux Professional Institute, and many other organisations. It's about helping you, helping your students become the workforce of the future, so that they're able to contribute to your economy, to the world economy, and the fact that they will become successful in what they do. Obviously, free means that there has been some very clever technology set up. So I'm going to go back to sharing now, and I'm actually going to show you the curriculum that's been developed by Cisco Systems in partnership with another company called the NetDev Group, or NDG. Okay, so we just wait for my device to go back to my Safari window, and I'm actually going to go into my class. Now, eventually you'll learn how to set up a class in Cisco Academy NetSpace, but if I just quickly jump into the Linux 101 class, obviously we're just waiting for the internet to download my class, and I just dive straight into the modules. And I'm just going to go straight away to Chapter 4, Why? Because I know it's the right place to look. I'm going to open this up in a new window. You'll get used to this. Just waiting for the connection to be established with the remote Linux session. And what we have is we have online curriculum that can be integrated with an online virtualized experience. So what we have here is online teaching material, and you've got a fully navigable set of material that is easy to read and easy to use, and you can go back to the command line shell and we can actually dive into the material, and it's, you've got all sorts of content for the students to learn from and understand the technology. But we've also got an inbuilt command line shell as well. That means that these students can actually interact with the online content so that they can develop those skills. So I've just clicked in the right-hand window. I know some of you probably know a little bit of Linux. I know some of you know absolutely nothing about Linux. But what I did there is on a remote virtualized server somewhere on the planet is an instance of Linux now given to me. So you could have 100 students or 10 students or 1 student. They could power this up at home or in your classroom, and immediately they're getting access to Linux. So long as you've got the normal web settings and web browser settings and this site is trusted, it will go through and there is no security risk. It actually uses something called an HTTP tunnel, a Hypertext Transport Protocol tunnel, and connects straight to a Linux instance somewhere else. So you don't have to install Linux on any of your machines at your school, at your education establishment. But we're not stopping you. If that's what you want to do, and you want to teach them how to install Linux, we think that is a wonderful thing to do. We will love you for doing it. But the important thing is, not for many students, they've got to develop skills, and they've got to learn to break the technology, and they've got to learn to become sort of comfortable with how it works, shouldn't work as well. And here you've got a safe area, a sandbox, let's say, that they can go try all kinds of commands out. And if they get it wrong, the worst thing that happens is they just restart the browser window and they can start again and learn from that experience. And you will discover if you play with these instances of Linux, it's not a simulator, it is a full-bore version of Linux. It's based on the Ubuntu platform from Canonical. Is that you can try out all kinds of weird and wonderful commands. If they want to delete the entire file structure and completely ruin the system, they can do so. If you want to get them to install, develop and tweak features, they can do so as well. And that is the beauty of this, is each time they come back to it, they have a fresh opportunity to try out and discover new skills. And the great thing about this curriculum is it's self-paced, so you can teach it at your speed, your students can learn at their speed, you can do labs in class, activities in class, or if your students have got a modest internet connection, they can do this at home. This is not designed for high bandwidth connections at all. This is designed for a modest connection where we are just transferring mainly text-based information. So from a geeky perspective, I find this quite impressive because I know this will actually work in many regions around the world. So, going back to the presentation,